Hi class, we're going to take a look at a couple of properties in this module. The main idea in this module is to multiply and divide fractions. So as we're simplifying fractions, which is the first property, the basic idea is that you're looking for common factors that technically cancel out on a given fraction. So for example, if we look at example 1, problem A, and they want you to simplify this given fraction, one step could be that we could actually write it as follows. So I'm looking for common factors of 8 and 12. So you could say that, well, 4 times 2 and then 4 times 3. And then the basic idea is we're going to cancel common factors. In this situation, we can cancel the 4s. And our final answer is going to be 2/3. Let me fix that 3. That would be our final answer for this one. In this case, the 2/3 happens to be in lowest terms. Let's take a look at example problem B. So in this situation, we have 3/9. So in this case, we could rewrite it as 3 times 1 and then 3 times 3. The common factors that we cancel would be the 3's. And this particular problem, it's going to give us a 1/3 as a final answer. In this case, this is actually it. 1/3 is our final answer. It's in lowest terms. We're always trying to we're always trying to multiply a common factor so we can cancel it out, and then cancels on the top and the bottom. Some of the problems that we're going to encounter are going to have variables. So let me rewrite this one and then also look at the common factors. So in this case, I'm just going to say this is 2 times x times y times y. I'm rewriting it as y and y because there's a y at the bottom. And then the 4 is going to be 2 times 2, then x and y. And then this way, it's going to be clear when I cancel the common factors of the 2's, and then technically that actual y. So our final answer on this one, actually wait, I'm missing an x. So in this case, that x gets canceled as well. So on the top, we're just left with a y. And at the bottom, we're left with a 2. This is our final answer on problem C. That's actually it on this one. We only cancel we're only left with a y on the top and then a 2 at the bottom. Let's take a look at another problem. In this case, well, they want us to simplify it, but technically this one is already simplified. So we would typically rewrite it as, well, this answer is just simply a 5th, and then write a comment that is in lowest terms. And what this means by putting the comment there is that we did take a look to see if we could cancel any values like on the previous problem. But in this case, 1/5, it's already been simplified. So nothing to do on that one. Let me fix that 5. Okay, let's take a look at the next set of problems. And in this situation, we're looking at reciprocals. And well, all it is for a reciprocal, it's a fraction that you technically flip. And they're only talking about a regular reciprocal. So in this case, as we're writing the reciprocal for 1/13, you're going to be expressing this as, well, technically 13 over 1, or the values of 13. And remember what the property is saying up here, and let me put this on the side. Reciprocals multiply to 1. So if you multiplied 1/13 times 13, this is equal to, well, 13 divided by 13, which is 1. That's what this property is implying. So you basically get a fraction and flip it. Let's take a look at the next problem. And in this problem, as we find the reciprocal, this is just going to be 5/3. So we're just flipping the fraction. That's another way of viewing it. the denominator goes to the top and the numerator goes to the bottom. This one, let me just express it as a fraction. So problem C, we're just going to rewrite it as technically 6 over 1, or as we find the reciprocal, this is going to be 1/6 as we flip the fraction. Let's take a look at another properties that are going to show up in this module. And this is the actual divisions. So when 0 gets divided by a number, it's automatically 0. So in this case, you would just say on the first one, since another way to express this problem is, well, technically 0 divided by a half, this is automatically 0. You technically don't have any values to, allocate. You're dividing 0 by values, so you don't have any values to allocate. Another property that shows up here is division by 0. In this case, it's not defined. So you're looking at 3/5 divided by 0, automatically undefined. So whenever you have a division by 0, it's automatically undefined. And if you have 0 divided by a number, it's automatically 0. That's actually it for these two. Let me pause the video for a little bit for you guys to catch up. Okay, let's continue with the next set of problems. So when you're multiplying fractions, you're basically just going to apply this basic property, and you multiply the tops and the bottoms and then cancel common fractions. So in this situation, I'm just going to rewrite this, technically 1/2 times the values of 2 over 1, which in this case, you're going to get 2 over 2 and technically 1. That's going to be our final answer. All of these problems, as we go into the examples, they're going to get a little bit more messy, and we're just supposed to simplify it as much as possible. Now, on problem B, they want us to provide a sketch of the multiplication of a half times 2. So this is what it actually represents. So let me just create a sketch. In this case, well, I'm attempting to draw it in halves. So in this case, I'm just going to say this is not to scale, but this represents 1/2 and 1/2. So what the problem they're asking us to do is, technically, if you were to select just the single 1/2, and then you're getting 2 of those. So if you multiply a half times 2, another way of viewing it is, well, technically, how much is this 1/2 plus another 1/2? So assuming that these squares are to scale, of course. And in this case, well, 2 1/2 is equal to 1 integer. Which is what we did on the top. That's a way to represent technically, well, in this case, the 1/2 times 2, you're gonna have 2 1/2. In this case, 2 parts. And this is just one way of viewing it, multiplication of fractions. This applies nicely for the 1/2 times 2. Okay, let's take a look at the last property that will show up in this section. And this deals with division of fractions. Okay, in division of fractions, you're basically just going to do the following. So you have 1/2 that's going to be divided by 2 over 1. And we're going to apply this property, which works on simplifying numbers as we're multiplying. So this is just going to be 1/2 times the reciprocal. So we're using the reciprocal of the second value. And in this case, you're going to get, well, the reciprocal of 2 over 1, it's going to be a half. And this is going to give us 1/4, which is already in lowest terms. Now, on problem B, they want us to represent, well, what does the division by 2 mean? And here's what we technically have. So we already said that this portion here, it's technically a half and a half from an integer. Oh, let me... So this is 1/2 and this is 1/2. But then what this particular problem is asking is to the given 1/2 further divided into 2 parts. So technically we're looking at this further division. And this further division out of the whole part, picture that this whole square represents 1 unit. Well, dividing the 1/2 by 2, it's going to give you 1/4. So that means that, well, if you're breaking the unit into 4 parts, each of those is going to be 1/4. So technically that represents 1/4. So in this case, our final answer is just going to be 1/4. So we're given a half, and then that half, they want us to divide it into 2 equal parts, which is going to give us what we obtain above as a 1/4. That's actually it for these first 5 examples. We're going to be doing a little bit more complicated problems. Problem B on both of these last ones is just to give you a picture representation of what do we mean by multiplying or dividing.